Now, I've seen some wild things in my life, right? But I've never had to beg for entrance into a place through a security camera with nobody on the other side of it even watching like I'm on the next episode of the Black Mirror. This was Casa LLC, y'all. A luxury studio apartment rental that left me and another woman. Not like that. I'm married. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. But I was locked out in the cold for hours until 3 a.m. in front of a 7-Eleven with the homeless and the druggies out there, while their 24/7 helpline was having dreams of sugar plums and gumdrops or some shit. I don't know. And when I finally got in, I hopped into bed, right? Next morning, I hopped in the shower. But guess what? No towels in the whole place. But not only that, I couldn't get a refund for the towels that I eventually bought, even though I showed them a video of myself looking through every drawer. But apparently because I didn't show them a video of me looking through the drawers in the kitchen, they didn't want to give me my money back. Because, apparently that's where bathroom towels go now, in the kitchen. I just, go figure. Like, what is this, a Saw sequel?
You want to dry off? Solve the puzzle first.
Like, my Airbnb felt more like a Section 8 escape room, only this time I'm trying to get in the room. But hey, this is not just Casa. I mean, I worked at Sprint. I've worked at H&R Block. I have been inside some of these systems, and I know why they push automation for their customer service needs. But here's the thing. When cost cutting becomes care cutting, it's not about convenience anymore. It's about control. And so today we are breaking all of that down. This is Society Breakdown. Peace, and blessings. What is good? This is your boy 7 Inglewood Zone right now in your zone. And this is another episode of The Blackman Show presents Society Breakdown. And today we are breaking down why these companies are even pushing automation in the first place and removing live help. How did customer service become a dead-end loop? And what can customers do to survive this garbage experience or avoid it completely? Let's go. Ideally, I am one to believe that this wasn't ideally the plan. I remember a time when they would actually say and work by the axiom that the customer is always right. I remember a time when there was a movie. What was it? Summer School with Mark, whatever. Anyway, there was some movie about these kids went to summer school, and I remember it was a big thing because a kid was complaining about how the sunglasses weren't that cool or whatever, and he complained, and the teacher encouraged him to write a letter to the company and complaint, and the company was like, "Oh man, we're so sorry," and they sent them like 4,000. It wasn't that many. It was like a box of sunglasses or something like that, and it was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I remember that because I remember that was the thing at the time. Companies used to operate under that axiom, right? The customer's always right. Not so much anymore. And like I said, I've worked in this space. I mean, at Sprint, I helped to analyze whether customer calls to the IVRs or the interactive voice response systems led to people churning or bouncing or leaving Sprint altogether within the next month, 3 months, or 6 months out after the issue, whatever the issue that they initially called about was addressed. So I got to see what these customer systems were doing, and ultimately I guess we got to see the demise of Sprint. And at H&R Block, I was in a position where we audited the customer care calls on a weekly basis. And look, I don't know if this is actually true, but one of the wildest stories that I heard about when I was there was, so there was this woman who would call into the customer service line quite a bit, and for years she would call and she would work with this particular customer service person that we had, Janet. We'll just call her Janet, right? So she would call and she would talk to Janet and say, "Hey Janet, give me some information, tax information, H&R Block, help me out." Janet will help her. She going along about it way, right? And so it came time that tax time comes. This woman is calling in. Can I talk to Janet? Can I talk to Janet? She can't talk to Janet. Janet's not there. people, finally address her issue and was like, hey, I will speak to her and let her know that Janet is no longer with the company, right? And so this woman was like, oh man, so sad. I'm upset. Oh man, Janet. So they say, well, man, we all work for H&R Block. If you can maybe, tell us the issue, I'm sure we can help you as well. And so she says, well, I just want to make sure that I can still claim Laz and Low on my taxes. They still live with me, and I've been taking care of them for the past year. Over the course of the year, they live with me, the entire time. They don't live anywhere else. So just want to make sure I can still claim them. And I also wanted to make sure that I could claim Chris. And, so the H&R Block person was like, yeah, this sounds like it makes perfect sense. I'm not certain what Janet was telling you, but it sounds like, as long as these people have, a valid social security numbers, I don't think you would have a problem with claiming them. And that's when this woman says, do they issue social security numbers for pets? You see, because up until that point, Janet had been telling this woman that she could claim her Labradoodles, Laz and Low, on her taxes, which she had been doing for the past 3 years. And the only reason that it was even caught this year was because she had called back and was trying to add her cat, Chris. And that was when they escalated the case. So yeah, this is why companies are pushing automation now. You know what I'm saying? Not to help you out, but because Janet got a little bit too comfortable giving tax advice like she's your aunt who knows a guy. I mean, bottom line, if you give wrong info about somebody's tax return, that ain't just bad service. That could be a lawsuit, and the class action one at that. I mean, hell, when I was in Sprint, we didn't need no AI. We had angry callers and caffeine, and that'll teach you more about human behavior than any algorithm. And at H&R Block, if a rep gave you the wrong tax info, you'd have 37 dependents and a pet ferret, all being claimed under your tax exemption status. So yeah, automation started to avoid liability, but then companies saw something better than safety: savings. And suddenly customer service became a fortress that you couldn't get into unless you knew a cheat code. To me, there is nothing more gaslighting when it comes to automated voice service calls than, your call is important to us. It will be answered in the next blah, 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 blah. My call is important, then I need you to act like it is and not have me on hold for 45, 55, 175 minutes. And look, don't get me wrong. The IVR was supposed to be helpful, right? It used to mean, hey, we'll get to you as soon as possible, or we'll get you to the right person faster. But now it means, hey, you are on your own. Good luck. I mean, look, you ever yelled representative into a phone like you summoning a damn demon? I mean, I'm sitting there hot as hell and your system is on demon time. Thank you very much. And by the fifth loop, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just starting to make up my own prompts. I'm sitting there like, press 7 if you're slowly losing your will to live. And so ultimately, this isn't about faster customer service anymore. It's about preventing any service. It's about keeping you in the loop, but out of the loop at the same time. That is a wild way of looking at it. But yeah, if you give up before a person picks up, you didn't cost them a dime. And look, let's talk this one company. I want to say their name, but I'm still dealing with them, so I ain't gonna say their name right now. But anyway, I signed up for a yearly plan, right? And they started billing me monthly. Try to contact somebody, they ain't got no number. The chat is telling me to call the number that they don't have or to use the email that bounces things back. And ultimately, I didn't get a damn refund. Still ain't got a refund. Still haven't had this issue resolved. And that's why I'm still, I haven't said the names yet because I'm still working on it, right? But ultimately, they took my money monthly, but went ghost when I needed some help. Then I have an LLC, right? I have my own little company, and I reached out to them as if I'm somebody from my company who wants to give them more money. You know, hey, I'd like to use your service for my company and my blah, 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 blah. So, you know, now I'm reaching out to them as if I want them to, I want to be a customer on their new platform, right? And suddenly it's,
hi, Hi, I'm Amanda from their sales success team.
Where the hell were you when I was stuck in invoice purgatory? And look, this ain't just that one company whose name I won't say at this point, but there's a whole genre of tech bros who build walls between you and support until they want something from you. So, it was all good a week ago because a week ago the bill was due. Now the bill's been paid. They don't want ish to do with you. Bars. But I'm just saying, that's the real deal. And look, trying to get a refund through an AI chatbot is like trying to hug smoke. You know what I'm saying? You touching everything and nothing's happening. And by some measures, it's probably the same with some exes I've had. But I digress. And don't forget the paradox, right? Like I said, bot says, talk to a human via email. The email bounces back. Says the email doesn't even exist. The site tells you to use the chatbot. Chatbot tells you to check the site or to send an email, but it completely shuts down when you ask it to speak to a human. And so this is customer service now. An Escher painting. It loops forever until you just throw your phone into the river and go live in a fucking cave. And ultimately, who benefits from bad service? Well, I mean, like I said, if it doesn't cost them anything, the companies are simply profiting anytime you give up. And that means they offer fewer refunds because you have lost the will to fight. You've lost the fight, and since you no longer want to fight, well, guess what? That's more money in their pocket. And they justifiably can keep it after a certain time because, well, you only fought it a certain amount of time. So all the time way back when they were billing you last year and the year before that, well, you can't get that money back. Statute of limitations being what they are and such. And that also leads to a reduction of labor costs for that company, right? I mean, so they get to put out a customer service system. They get to say that we have customer service, even though the customer service is the most gaslighting thing that you've ever encountered. So they get to say that they have something out there that is usable. We can call it customer service because the customer is served. There are words there. There's an FAQ at least. So some things may get answered, but for your particular issue, oh, God help you. But ultimately, they get to use these chatbots and AI in a way that allows them to avoid the cost of having to train up a workforce to be knowledgeable of your product, so that way they can spit that knowledge to your customer base in a way such that they are your first line of defense representing your company when any sort of issues arise. So I guess they're looking at it like, well, look, if we put out a good enough product, yeah, we might get 15, 20% of people who got some issues with it, but that's 80% that's still paying us, baby. What are we talking about? Let's make the money. And ultimately that leads to zero accountability for the company, right? We've given you a method of trying to contact us. Oh, you can't contact us? Oh, shucks, darn it. But we put something out. So there's that. I mean, they say that your call is important to us, right? But what they mean is your money was important to us. You? Not so much. Look, I can almost guarantee you if Dante were to write his Inferno in 2025, one of those circles of hell would include the IVR and or AI/chatbot customer service loop. It has to. It absolutely has to. And so with all of this lack of service out there, what can you do to protect yourself as a customer? I say screenshot everything.
I keep my receipts.
Save your emails, record your chats, take pictures of everything. And if necessary, file BBB complaints like I did against Casa. They do get read. And then you can use human bypass tricks, right? Search how to talk to a real person at company X, right? And then you've got sites like gethuman.com, or you can even use old school cheat codes like just pressing 0 repeatedly, because for a lot of those IVR systems, it still works. And of course, you can push back publicly. I love to social media bomb companies when they are on bullshit. That's just me. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I always feel justified. Please look at what happened when I talked about my encounter with the Cook County system and Dorothy Brown's office in particular. I'll put that up here somewhere. Anyway, but you can hop on Yelp, Google reviews, Reddit, Twitter. Public shame works a whole lot better than private begging. I'm just saying. And don't forget to support your human first brands, right? Some still exist. Like tip your local barista and your local ISP if they pick up the damn phone. I'm sorry. And lastly, I would say make noise together. Start discussions, get into those chat rooms and those forums and record the videos and tag the brands at the same time. Hop on TikTok and talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when people make noise, corporations at least pretend to care. And I don't know. That's the start. I mean, we're not asking for a butler. We just want somebody to answer the phone before we die and get reincarnated as a support ticket. And so what did we learn today, my little chickadees? Customer service didn't die. It was murdered. Seriously, it was unalived by spreadsheets, by paranoia, and ultimately by companies that treat access to a human being like it's a premium feature in an RPG game. You pay your money, you should get a service, whatever it is. It's that simple. And if you're locked out in Detroit in the cold at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, the very least they could do is put some damn towels in the bathroom. I digress. Y'all let me know, what's the most ridiculous customer service experience that you've had? Tag the company. Please help me build a hall of shame. But until next time, I have been Seven Blackman, and this has been another episode of The Blackman Show presents Society Breakdown. Next week, we are breaking down why companies killed the entire concept of hospitality, because at this point, you're lucky if you even get a thank you before they hang up on you. But y'all take care of each other until next time. Hit the like, subscribe, share, whatever. Peace. I'm out.